Hey guys, thanks for popping in. This is episode number 2. Hey, chugging along, right? Episode number 2, y'all. Have you ever seen that episode of Seinfeld called The Boyfriend, where Jerry befriends Keith Hernandez from the Mets, and Keith Hernandez calls Jerry and asks him a really awkward question that gets played out for the entire episode. And the question has to do with kind of asking him to do something that men do together. But that's a really intimate thing, apparently. And the question was just way out of line. And so the whole episode is about them dealing with the awkwardness of that question. It's hilarious. I love it. Here, let me let you listen to this.
Who is that?
That was Keith.
What's going on?
He wants me to help him move.
Help him move? Move what?
You know, furniture.
So, what did you say?
I said yes, but I don't feel right about it. I mean, I hardly know the guy. That's a big step in a male relationship. The biggest. That's like going all the way.
And you feel you're not really ready for...
Well, we went out one time. Don't you think that's coming on a little too strong? Hey. What's going on? Keith Hernandez just asked me to help him move. What? Well, you hardly know the guy. What a nerve.
You see? Wasn't I right about this guy? Didn't I tell you? Oh, you're not gonna do it, are you?
I said yes.
You said yes! Don't you have any pride or self-respect? I mean, how can you prostitute yourself like this?
I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to start driving him to the airport?
I'm not driving him to the airport.
Oh, boy,
Hey, Kramer, do me a favor, would you?
What?
Don't mention it to anybody.
I wish you never mentioned it to me.
See, I love Seinfeld. I do. I actually worked with several other people on the show, several of the producers, I should say. But anyway, that episode was from season 3, episode 17. It aired February the 12th, 1992. You can watch it on Hulu, by the way. I'll have the link in the show notes. But that entire exchange sums up this problem this week. The guy who wrote this problem that I'm calling some dude I barely know wants me to be his best man. I mean, I might as well play this clip for him. This clip would be the entirety of my answer. It's just hilarious. And it's really funny how when we cross boundaries with people we don't know, how it really can throw us off. How you can just be like, well, what? You know, like this is weird. What? Awkward. Right? So that's kind of what we're dealing with this week with this problem. And how do you deal with that? Seriously, because everybody has a different way of doing it, right? I'm pretty blunt and to the point, but everyone has a different way of dealing with it. So we're gonna get into the meat of this problem, and keeping the Seinfeld gang in the back of our mind, we're gonna give this guy who wrote in about this problem a solution that I think is gonna be satisfactory, right? So all right, and when we come back, you're gonna hear the problem. I'm gonna give you some feedback on it, and I just kind of want to say that there is a list online that I checked out that I thought was funny on the top 15 male bonding activities. Because what do I know about male bonding, right? I'm a chick. And it was really interesting. I'm going to put that link in the show notes. You'd be surprised at some of the things that they put on the list. But if you have any ideas on male bonding activities, or you think that the guy in this letter, you know, whose problem I'm about to read is kind of off, or maybe you have advice for him if you're a guy, I don't know. Write in, let me know. I'll read it on the air. All right? Let's file this one under awkward. The person who sent in this problem calls himself Not, N-O-T, which is really funny. All right, Not, what you got for us here? Not says, I was recently asked by a professional acquaintance to be the best man at his wedding. I'm very surprised by the request, as he and I only talk once or twice per year about work, and I do not consider him to be a personal friend. I would feel gross while pretending my way through a wedding I have zero personal involvement in. But I also wonder if this person had no one else to ask. I think of how awful that must feel and wonder if going might be a random act of kindness or a relative, for a relative stranger. And to a lesser extent, I wonder about burning a bridge that could be useful for me professionally in the future. Can I say no? And if so, how? Signed, Not. All right, Not. This is a really interesting question, interesting problem. I actually have a couple of questions, but I'm going to start with your question. And your two questions actually is, can I say no? And if so, how? Okay, you can say whatever you want to say. Okay, you can say whatever you need to say to move you beyond a very uncomfortable situation. The question is not just what you can or can't say, but when you say it. You see, it's not just a matter of answering the question. It's when you answer it that also helps or hurts the situation. But I just want to be clear on something. It looks like homeboy here is, you guys work together. I was recently asked by a professional acquaintance. Okay, so you guys must work together. Okay, to be the best man at his wedding, which is really, that is awkward. I'm gonna co-sign with you on that. It's very weird. I can't say that if someone I worked with asked me to be their maid of honor in their wedding, that I wouldn't look at them like they were on crack. I'd be like, what? What is there a camera on me right now? Is this some kind of like prank? Yeah, it's a little weird, but all right. And obviously you were surprised and everything in the moment. Here's a situation, I think, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think this is one of those situations where we tend to do two things with problems that we deal with in our lives. Number one, we blow it out of proportion. And that's because, number two, we don't address it right away. All right. Any problem that's not addressed right away when it can be. I mean, there's some problems that require a little more finessing and that are a little more, but when we don't address something that needs to be sort of handled in the immediate, it becomes bigger, and then we blow it out of proportion. And I think part of the reason for that is fear. We're afraid of doing what needs to be done, right? And saying what needs to be said. And this is the perfect example for that. Now here it is, you not work with someone who I'm guessing you guys are on friendly terms, which is cool. But he's asked you a question that's clearly made you very uncomfortable. All right. Now, if you were down for it and everything was cool and you said yes, you guys could have been cool no matter what, even if it was a strange thing. I mean, if you're strange too and it works, then that's fine. But if he's crossing a boundary with you, and again, so much of life boils down to boundaries, man, I swear, we are constantly challenged on what we say our boundaries are, on how much we're willing to compromise those boundaries, if at all. Right? So this is that perfect situation. And I think where you may have gone a little left here, to be honest with you, is that very moment when he asked you, hey, will you be my best man? And rather than kind of address it in the moment, you've now given him false hope or reason to believe that you're considering it. So going as far as to say, you feel awful. You don't know what his issues are. You don't know if the guy can't find anyone else. And, would you be helping him? I actually think you're actually hurting him, and you're hurting yourself more than anything. I mean, come on, because let's see, to a lesser extent, I worry about burning a bridge. Okay, let's forget about that for a second. I think of how awful it must feel and wonder if I'm going to, if you're going there as a random act of kindness. No, it's a lie. It's a lie. You going to his wedding as his best man is exactly what you said it was. It's gross for you, right? Because imagine standing around his mother, his father, his sister. First of all, whatever that story is about why he doesn't have a best man, I promise you do not want to get involved. I don't care what the answer is. Maybe the guy just doesn't have friends. Maybe he's a severe loner, or maybe his friend was going to do it. His best friend was going to do it and the guy dropped dead. Who knows? The bottom line is that it's so creepy in a really, really uncomfortable way that you don't even want to get involved, much less show up at the wedding and not know what you're walking into. Who knows what the hell you're walking into in that situation? I mean, what, you know what I mean? You never know. So anyway, I wouldn't even go that deep. It's none of your business. This is a professional acquaintance. Professional acquaintances are meant to be kept at a distance. So anyway, getting back to the problem, personally, I think what you should have said to him is you yourself actually should have been honest to him. I don't think you're being honest to him either. He's asking you to be dishonest for him. Not necessarily asking you to be dishonest for him because he's not telling you to lie. I just think maybe his definition of a best man might be different, or maybe he's trying to cover up something. I don't know. But you definitely were being dishonest by not answering him in an immediate and saying, yo, man, look, we're cool. I appreciate it, but this is not, I don't feel comfortable with this. In my mind, a best man is a best friend or a family member. I don't know your people. I really, really don't know you, although we're cool. I don't feel comfortable with that. And there's ways that you could have done that without making him feel like a piece of shit, because you never know what his situation is. And I do believe you should always try to kind of, consider the other person's feelings. He asked you, maybe he feels like you guys are closer than you think you are. So yeah, handle it sensitively and just be like, hey man, I don't really feel comfortable with that. And I don't really like weddings so much. So, but that would have been the time to just ask him, like, yo, well, what happened to you? Like, don't you have a best friend, or what's going on? And leave it at that. And if he answers it, then fine. But if not, then okay. But you're not committing yourself to doing something that you said yourself is gross. Now, the other thing that I would say about this is you going down into your letter here. Let's see. I think, fine. You're trying to empathize with him, and that's okay. But this whole thing with, I worry about burning a bridge that could be useful for me professionally in the future. I hate when people say that. I just do. I don't know, guys. I just think that's such bullshit. You know why? Because, there are times when you are going to burn bridges. That does not have to be, your mind doesn't need to go to that extreme, though. That is admitting defeat for a situation that you haven't even approached in a sensible way. In other words, if you approach this very sensibly and sensitively, you shouldn't even be worrying about burning a bridge. It's not like you're going to go tell the guy, yo, go fuck yourself. You're not saying that to the guy. You're not going up to him and laughing at him and calling him this or calling him that. All you're saying is thanks, but no thanks. And if that's enough to cause you to burn a bridge with this guy, then you don't want him anyway. You don't want or need that bridge. There are plenty of other bridges. Okay, so let this be a test of not only what you can do with regards to showing where your boundaries are, but you will also learn a little bit more about who this other person is, because he might be some kind of freakazoid. He might be just some guy who's a little lonely, or he just might be, he just might feel like you guys were closer than you really were. And in all three cases, you definitely want to set that boundary that, hey, yo, no, and no. Okay. Yeah, do that, because you said yourself you don't want to feel gross, right? I've not really had that situation at work. I've definitely had at the office, women say to me, hey, you want to go shopping after work? And I go, no, but thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I'm really clear on those boundaries, and I know it can be awkward at work, but work is work. Work is work, So anyway, good luck with that. And find a way to talk to him and without invalidating him, celebrate, wish him you can even, hey, I'm happy for you, congratulations, and I don't know, I don't know if you would get him a gift or anything. That's kind of weird, but yeah, that's it. All right, and this one, let me tell you guys really quickly where this came from. I have to get in the habit of doing that. I always want to give credit to the blog that this came from. Hold on for 1 second. All right, so Not sent this into Dear Prudence. Dear Prudence is one of the top advice columns on the internet. If you don't know, check it out. I will have the link in the show notes so you can go check it out. And I think Dear Prudence lets people leave comments as well. So you can do two things. You can leave comments definitely on my blog, on the blog for the show, which is Nobody Asked Podcast. And then you can also check out Dear Prudence and go see some of the other great questions and problems happening over there. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. You guys let me know what you think about this. Would you do what this guy just did, or what do you think I'm wrong? Tell me. All right. Okay, bye.